Hello and welcome if you're new to my channel, and if you're a subscriber, a warm welcome back. Gross Dana is the wonderful lady I go to for my monthly pedicure. She's someone I have known for over 10 years. I've been going to her for over 10 years. So we've had a lot of time for our relationship to evolve. When I arrive, I'm incredibly warmly welcomed. Big hug. We have a little song and a dance about who's looking better. And then I'm ushered to the chair, place my feet in the bowl. Whilst they're soaking, she goes off, prepares a cup of tea for me, and usually brings a cheeky slice of cake from the staff canteen. My feet are incredibly well pedicured. She puts a lot of care and effort into my feet. Whilst she's tending to my feet, there isn't a single topic that's out of bounds. We've known each other for over 10 years, so we talk about a lot. Once we're done, we have the same song and a dance, with her refusing to take her tip, which she rightly deserves, and I always insist she takes. Once we're finished, I wander over to the till point, pay and leave. From start to finish, I'm always on a high, and I'm literally smiling for hours after my appointment with Gross Dana. But I don't get to see her as often as I'd like to because she's usually booked. I can't book well in advance. Creating content, having to react to different things means I typically have to change my daily appointments. So I tend to book when I know I have a gap where I'm not going to change anything. And so that means I end up trying other places. I'm now at an age, my experience means I don't want the cheaper pedicures. I am very happy and comfortable to pay a premium, provided I get the service. But one thing we're really struggling with in the United Kingdom is experienced people within the luxury space, people who understand what is a luxury pedicure. When I say luxury pedicure, the typical pedicure in the United Kingdom, you're looking at about 20, 30 pounds. But luxury, you're talking from about 40 pounds through to about 70 pounds, depending on the salon you're going to go for. And I'm very happy to pay 40 pounds and above, provided I get a certain level of service. But what's happening in the United Kingdom with people who are typically experienced within the luxury space, who know what luxury looks like, who are passionate about the space, a lot of people have left. So it means a lot of companies are recruiting new people. People who may not have the same passion or understanding for what is luxury and the kind of service and in turn experience you need to give a consumer. So when I'm not able to see Gross Dana, I try other places. And it really got me thinking because a couple of weeks ago, one of my regular commenters mentioned she is happy to pay the premium that comes with quality products. She's becoming a lot more demanding and expecting higher quality than what she used to settle for in the past. But in paying the higher premium, she expects a high level of customer experience. That's something that I also feel. And I used to think, am I the only one who will refuse to pay for a cheap pedicure? I'd rather pay the premium in the hope, with the expectation I'm going to get a certain level of service. And that is something that's not happening now. And I just thought, let's talk about this. I'd like to hear if other people have had the same experiences as me. What have they done? What's the way forward? And just a way to start a conversation where brands are able to appreciate service from the consumer, the payer's point of view. I'm Anesu Sagonda, and I produce educational luxury content for anyone after the finer things, whether you're young and starting out in life and wanting to reap the benefits of buying better quality from the get-go, or you're new to money and wanting to learn how to navigate the terrain, or you're into luxury but you want to focus more on high quality, under the radar brands, then my content is geared towards you. There are a couple of nail bars I've been to in the last 3 months. One of them I've been to twice. Both of them have a number of branches dotted in around central West London. They are Townhouse and London Grace. London Grace I went to literally yesterday. The first time I stumbled across London Grace, I was walking past the nail bar on my way to a restaurant locally. There are quite a few restaurants within Belgravia near where London Grace is located. And I popped in because firstly, I thought they were linked to Grace Belgravia, which was an upmarket women's health club, which closed down a number of years ago. And I thought, oh, Is it part of Grace Belgravia? In which case it's a short quality, but they weren't linked, they aren't linked. And then the second reason is, as I was walking past, I noticed a cocktail bar and I thought, oh, a nail bar and a cocktail bar, is it 2 in 1? And then realized, once I'd walked in, big neon sign saying nails, coffee and cocktails. I thought, oh, fantastic idea to have cocktails whilst having your nails done. It's a great place for a date, a catch-up date with a girlfriend, for example, over bubbles, cocktails. I couldn't think of anything nicer to do. I asked about their appointment procedure and thought I will come back next time I need to make an appointment. What I really liked about London Grace, a couple of things. Firstly, the service I received, I really liked. It was professional. The young lady took the cue from me in terms of being quiet, and she just got on with it. She asked a couple of times if I was fine with the pressure. I really liked the cocktail concept. It's such a shame that I went in the middle of the afternoon. It was literally just after lunch, and I was so tempted to order a glass of bubbles, but just ended up getting an elderflower spritz. But I really like the idea of cocktails, and I have noticed a number of other places in London that have sprouted on the back of having a cocktail bar as well as a nail bar combined. What I did struggle with is the salon itself. This particular location, I haven't been to other locations, was very small. There were possibly 6 of us in there at the same time. This is excluding staff. There were 2 young girls, 10 years old, having their first mani-pedi. And then there were 4 other clients. One arrived halfway in between. Space was incredibly narrow. Plus there were 2 nannies with the young girls. It was incredibly cramped. It was uncomfortable, and I didn't like that. And I thought, oh my goodness, service is fantastic. I like the cocktails. You also have the option of being able to book the entire place for a party, but it's a tiny space. And I thought, oh, what a shame. Townhouse, as I mentioned, I've been to twice. The first time I discovered one of their nail bars was along King's Road. I looked in and really liked the look and the feel of the place. Incredibly luxurious, spacious, big chairs where you can sit down and have a manicure and pedicure at the same time with a big bath underneath. Incredibly spacious. I liked the setup. I liked the look and feel. I thought, I have to try this place. First time I really struggled with the service, told the brand, went back in complimentary. And the service I can only best describe as average. Townhouse, in terms of the look and feel, 10 out of 10. It's incredibly luxurious. It looks the part. They don't have the big drink making facilities, the cocktail facilities. All they provide is water and coffee, which I think is a shame because I don't drink coffee and I'd have preferred a hot drink and not water. And I guess it's overheads, employing someone to take care of the drinks, whereas the drinks are, lady who is serving you is the one who gets the drinks for you. So I guess it's not having the staff who are able to turn around a much wider selection of drinks. But if you had the service, the cocktail bar, and then the look and feel, the equipment of Townhouse, you'd have an incredibly explosive product. That would be absolutely amazing. As I said, I struggled with the service at Townhouse, but that's something that they can work on, they can sort out. I may go back in a few months' time, give them time to grow as a brand, because I've noticed they've just exploded in the last few months. Grace Belgravia, or rather London Grace, would I go back? I would. But they perform what's called a dry pedicure, and that's something I'm not altogether comfortable with. They don't use water at all. They're saving thousands of liters of water a week. But I am very much an old school person, a firm believer that you need to wash your feet before they're pedicured. They need to soak. But I can't complain with the quality of work and service I received when I went yesterday. The file that they used performs a dry file, and they seem to get a lot of the dense skin off. They cleanse the feet, but I question, if you've been walking around all day, will they be able to clean your feet, and then all you're doing is just spraying with a cleanser? It's something I'm not entirely comfortable with. I would go if I was going there first thing in the morning before I've been out and about and my feet are still fairly clean. But the service was great. I liked the cocktail element. It was fantastic. So when it comes to my expectations of what is luxurious experience when it comes to luxury pedicures, well, I can best describe it in 4 different sections. The first bit is your arrival. I've arrived at a number of places. They barely make eye contact. They rarely smile, something I experienced at Townhouse. Make eye contact, greet someone, smile, welcome them in. If they're carrying a coat, take their coat and hang it up. Guide them to their chair. Seat them before they put their feet into the water, for example, into the bath, pedicure like I was doing. Firstly, ask do you have any concerns with your feet? Anything I need to be aware of? Anything you'd like me to focus on? That's something I've never been asked. And it's shocking for me, because I think if you're going to do a very good job, you need to know what is needed. Is there anything you need to be aware of? So you're able to do a good job. You have all the information. I have found the technicians typically just plow in and get on with what is expected, a template. And then at the end, you sometimes ask, are you happy with the results, or is there something else you'd like me to sort out before you leave? Firstly, ask about concerns. And then the second thing, before they place their feet into the bath, just ask, please feel the water. Is it a comfortable enough temperature for you? Before placing someone's feet, and then 10 minutes later asking, is the water a comfortable temperature? I think that's something that's important and should be addressed at the beginning. And then also give them the color chart so they can decide, whilst you are focused on the pedicure, what color they would like at the end. Middle bit, the conversation. This is something I really struggle with. I always say, take the cue from the customer. Too many times I've had ladies who just launch into a massive conversation. And for me, a pedicure is my time to just relax, enjoy it, and I'm absorbed in my own thoughts. I have a lot of things that are going on that I'm able to just process whilst I'm sitting quietly. Take the cue. If somebody's chatty, then chat. The other thing is personal questions. Please don't ask personal questions. And I think this is down to the fact that a lot of the technicians I find are more millennial, Gen Zs, Gen Ys. They're younger, boundaries are different. They're a lot more relaxed about what they talk about, what they ask. Whereas I'm a Gen Xer, there's certain things I think are just not appropriate discussed in public, with people who you don't know, for example. And I really struggle with that, being asked a lot of personal questions and trying to avoid the questions without creating an awkward situation. And that's just something I think I've struggled with across the board, and I've really noted. And then also within this middle section, I've noticed Townhouse was fantastic because incredibly spacious place, but there were two big chairs and there was someone in the chair next to mine. And the young lady who was performing my pedicure, on a couple of occasions was listening to the conversation in the next section, and should be focused on that conversation and should take her eyes off my feet. And I was like, interesting, because towards the end, she brought over a fan, a handheld fan, so she could fan my feet in between the various coats of nail varnish. And because she was so engrossed in the conversation, the fan was not actually fanning my feet, but it was focused on a different direction because her attention was focused on the conversation. Always focus on the conversation. Always focus on the feet you are looking after. Don't err off into the conversation in the next section. And there's also a situation where the young lady was asked for something and she got up, went off and did something and then came back. And I thought, oh, you could have said to me, I need to just get something for someone. Please excuse me, I'll be back shortly, and gone off, as opposed to just getting up and leaving. I don't even think it should be a consideration for you to do something else for someone whilst you're performing a pedicure. I just don't think it's appropriate. And particularly if you're paying a premium, the focus really needs to be on the job and doing a good job and being as professional as possible. And those are just my thoughts. And then at the end, once you're done, I have noticed, because I'm not somebody who talks, the young ladies will start conversation. And it's more aligning themselves to get a tip, possibly to find out if there's something you're not happy with. Although I've never explicitly been asked, are you happy with the pedicure? Is there anything you'd like me to do or change or address? That's something I'm rarely ever asked. But the focus is on conversation, to almost like to butter you up for the tip. I'm a huge tipper. I like tipping. I appreciate the whole concept of tipping, and I will tip if I'm happy. And I don't think it's something that you have to start priming towards the end, start conversation to try and work up towards the tip. And that's just something I seem to pick up a common vibe that you tend to get towards the end. Once you're done, of course, ask if I'm happy, the client is happy with the pedicure, and then guide them to the till point where they can pay and leave. But I also think it's important at the end of the pedicure to actually thank the client for the business. At the end of the day, paying for a service is what will ultimately pay your salary. And I just think acknowledging and thanking them for the business is something that's really important. But those are some of my thoughts when it comes to pedicures, a couple of the common themes, trends I've come across that I struggle with, and I hope with time we can overcome. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts, good and bad. What have you done? What works? What doesn't work? In the comment section down below.